Greetings, one and all. I went to see Derren Brown perform a show this week. For those who don't know who he is, he's a mesmerist, and when he performs, his eyes twinkle as he mesmerizes everyone with his fantastic tricks of magic and showmanship. Maybe I've learnt some tricks off him and can mesmerize you into listening to me. My eyes are twinkling right as I speak. Welcome to 33 1/3, a show that's full of meandering talk and some music from my friends. Tracks from albums from some of my favourite people, friends and beloved musicians, and I hope that you'll enjoy the tunes that go along with this. I wanted to talk about the quote, "My karma run over your dogma." I first heard that being said by Robert Stanley, one of my favourite channels that I used to watch. He seems to have disappeared lately, but hopefully he's back around soon. But my karma run over your dogma. What a brilliant thing to throw at someone who's too dogmatic in their ways, wants to throw their beliefs at you and don't want to be open-minded enough to look at other things or to be open-minded enough to even consider anything you want to think about. What is karma? Karma could be seen as a kind of law of action. For many people, it's the belief that one receives a karmic kickback from whatever life they were living in a previous life. So that comes down to reincarnation. And that, whatever they were doing in one life, you receive the benefits or the non-benefits in the next life, the punishments and the rewards, which is maybe an inclination to make sure that you're being good in this life, so in your next life you have good karma. But Gurdjieff used to talk about all these different laws that the world and ourselves are run by, and us humans have quite a few laws running on us. And there's the law of accident. Do things just happen to us willy-nilly? Or are things sent to us in a karmic way? That law of karma, we're getting retribution for something, or we're getting a reward for something we've done in the past or in a past life. One wonders which it could be. It's very difficult to ponder on these kind of things sometimes. What is your karma? Is it your karma to live a good life in this life so you can live another good life in another life? Or is it your karma to work hard on yourself in this life and to go forwards and hopefully go on to the next stage in your human evolvement when you die, or even perhaps while you're living? Maybe you can get to evolve to the next stage whilst you're still living. It's something I believe in. Gurdjieff talks about developing your case-jam body so that your soul has a case to live in when you die. But maybe, and he does say it can be built whilst you're still living, which helps you to, once you've got this case-jam body, to work with the divine and be part of the harmonious development of the world. But then this is all part of perhaps Gurdjieff's dogma or my dogma that I believe in, that I like to think I'm open-minded enough to look at other ideas and thoughts, and I look into a lot of different people's philosophies and theologies because I want to understand what this life is about and why I'm here and to make the most of it. But what I don't want to be is told what to believe in or told what to do. And there's a lot of people out there that like to, let's say, proselyte, likes to tell us their beliefs, their dogma, and their dogma's their only way. Which is why I'm sure this quote came about, that our karma can run over their dogma. So I'm going to play a little track now from my friend Tim Wyatt's album. This is from Atlantis Outcome, and we're going to play the track, "My Karma Run Over Your Dogma."
Dogma, you started screaming at me. You called me a pleb, said you wanted me dead for all eternity. you're typically spiteful, never ever delightful. You're not the kind of person you can ever rely on. You're not the kind of person you can ever rely on. When my karma ran over your dogma, you went all histrionic. You yelled down the place and spat in my face the rest of your gin and tonic. You've always been mischievous, not to say totally devious. Not the kind of person to grow old with. You're not the kind of person to grow old with. A fatal combination. Emotional warfare, rifts that never end. Karma and dogma in savage syncopation. Karma and dogma kill you in the end. My karma ran over your dogma. Your knuckles slammed into my jaw. I fell over, I was in a coma before I hit the floor. You always were the true skeptic. Your moods were frequently septic. You're not the kind of person to have a rapport with. You're not the kind of person to have a rapport with. Karma and dogma, a fatal combination. emotional warfare, rifts that never end. Karma and dogma in savage syncopation. Karma and dogma kill you in the end. When my karma ran over your dogma, you reached for the carving knife. You stuck it in my chest with your usual zest, and now you're serving life. You'll do all of your time and never admit the crime. You're not the kind of person to go to hell with. You're not the kind of person to go to hell with.
So that track, My Karma Run Over Your Dogma, was by Tim Wyatt from the album Atlantis Outcome, which is available on Hamaduru's Records. So thinking about karma and dogma, I must remind you all that I've done a few shows with Tim Wyatt. We've done a few discussions which you can find in the videos on my channel. And one of the talks we discussed, me and Tim, is about elementals. And I wondered, do they get caught up in the laws of karma and retribution? Are they caught up in dogma? Do the elementals, or the little fairy folk and the gnomes and the dwarves and such like, are they free to do what they wish to do, or do they have to follow a certain way of living? I don't know. Obviously it'd be nice to talk to a few of them. I've met a few when I used to take magic mushrooms. I don't recommend doing drugs at all. Nowadays I don't do anything like that, but I'd like to think that I can, when I go into meditations or go psychic questioning, that I do communicate with them. It's quite a subtle art. Some psychic questers I know, can actually see and talk to elemental beings. I have more of a feeling about them when I'm out there with them, but it's something that's can be done by anybody. You can if you want to go and meet the elemental folk, obviously ask for protection and prayers from the divine source first. You can just go out into a field or the woods or any kind of countryside, just sit and let yourself just merge with the land, stare into the sea, kind of, I think Ari Forrison calls it fading in or fading out into the land, the sea, the water, the tree, whatever it is, the rock, the stone, because they're in all these things, then the being should, if you are worthy enough, come to you. And sometimes this takes practice. But it's something I like to think we can all do, and maybe they need our help just as much as we need theirs. I know some people say we shouldn't interfere with these other realms. Rudolf Steiner comes from the point of view that if we don't work with the elementals, they will turn to the dark forces, because they don't want to sit around doing nothing. They want to work for someone, which makes me think that they're obviously driven by action, and maybe not necessarily by an emotion or intellect as to whether it's a good or bad force that they're working with. They just want to do something. Maybe they don't like procrastinating, which us humans are terrible at doing. To some folks, these elemental type people are also known as the little folk, or the hidden people. Those that live in the hills and the trees and the woods. And they live to the north and to the south and to the east and to the west. They are around the whole world. And in another old tale, I was told, was all these elementals and fairy folk and such like are the angels who sat on the fence during the war in heaven, in the war between Lucifer, who was trying to take over heaven, and Michael, the good angel who was standing up for the divine source. So there was a battle between them two, and there's a third of the angels on either side, and one third that didn't want to get involved, kept their noses out, maybe some would say. But the divine source was not happy with them, so he sent them down to earth to become the elementals that we know of today. So here's a new track by the band, Free Leaf Tea. It's going to be available soon, so listen out for them, and I'll be playing some more tunes from them in other shows. This is called The Eagle. was telling you the story about the angels in heaven and the Great War, and I came across this, which was in the, let me just find the reference, William Clayton's journal, which comes from the Joseph Smith papers, which is, okay, all part of the Mormons, whatever. We've got to remember that Mormonism started with an angel coming down, the angel Moroni, to see Joseph Smith. And this Clayton writes, the angels do not reside on a planet like this earth, but they reside in the presence of God, on a globe like a sea of glass and fire, where all things for their glory are manifest, past, present, and future, and are continually before the Lord. The place where God resides is the Great Urum and Thummim. Now, many of you might have heard of the words Urim and Thummim. We don't really know what they are, but they're something to do with stones or crystals, and some people say they were in the breastplates of priests. But I think there's a bit more going on there with the old Urim and Thummim, that they were possibly even some kind of communication device, perhaps between the divine and angels. Whether it's any good to us, I'm not so sure. Whether it's something we can use as humans. You know, for many, Urim means lights, and Thummim means, well, it says possibly perfections, but they still say the meaning is uncertain. So is it perfect lights, lights of the perfect? Isn't that something what we're attaining to be, the lights, perfect lights, so that we can change from this human organic body into a light being? They say that the word Urim is taken from the root meaning light. But Thummim, some people say, means innocent. So innocent lights, pure lights, which is, you know, if you've been following my other shows, you know that that's something I've been discussing quite a bit, about how we are trying to become perfected beings. We need to create our light bodies so that we can work in the next realms or the next stage of evolution. You know, Rudolf Steiner talks about this a lot as well, that we need light bodies to go forward, light bodies to work in. In some mystical treatises, they talk about becoming the peacock, how we want to become the peacock of many colours. And I find it interesting that sometimes the peacock symbol is used for mystics. I've talked before about birds. One of my favourite symbolisms about birds is the, you know, the black raven that's here on the ground, or, you know, just fly in the skies obviously, but represents us humans on the earth, and we're trying to transform to become the white dove that takes us up to the Holy Spirit, or it represents the Holy Spirit. But as we change, we go from black to white, and in that changeover we become half black, half white, which is the symbolism of the magpie. But the thing with the peacock is, and I don't know if this is its mystical symbol inverted, some people say that it's normally to do with pride, the proud peacock, you know, fluffing up its feathers and showing off its tail wings, and hey, look at me, all beautiful. Oh, I do wonder if that's a bit of an inversion of it all, because originally it was all about, like I was saying, with the raven to the magpie to the dove, it's another way of becoming all colours, so that one represents everything. I do remember that in the Christian mythology, the peacock can also represent resurrection. So it's another symbol of, you know, the Christ resurrecting. I think it was Augustine. I sometimes get my saints a bit mixed up, but I'm sure he was saying that that's because the peacock is like gold, it's incorruptible. But you've probably seen many pictures of peacocks with their feathers, and it looks like they've got eyes in their tails, which is another reason why they're seen as the mystic representative, because they have the many eyes, so they see all. And I think it's a beautiful bird. And I was very lucky to have seen a white peacock. I think it was at Scandival in Wales. Beautiful albino white peacock. And I wanted to go up and say hello to it. One of the monks warned me that it was a bit of a bad-tempered creature, as many albinos apparently are albino creatures. But to tell us a little song, or sing us a little song about the white peacock, here's Jude Cowan Montague from her album To India. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope I also catch you next time. Should you perform music yourself and you have some music you'd like played, done by yourselves, just send me an MP3 and hopefully it will appear on one of these shows soon. Thanks for listening, enjoy the music, and don't sleepwalk through life. Adios!